Well, hi guys, I'm Celestial Shadows, and welcome back to Princess Evangile. It's been a month since I played, and I'm still only in... I think I just started Chapter 8, and probably still like 30 more hours to go. But I'll finish this game eventually, with all the routes, and move on to my other 100 Steam games. And hopefully I remember all these voices. Probably come back to me. Anyways, on Monday after class, we gathered as usual and checked the approval rankings. It's a big increase this week. Here, look at it. Completely forgot your voice, but probably should review my last videos. Yaka, so I guess I'll just go a little deeper. Wow, you're right. I wonder why. Perhaps the others are slowly beginning to go mad for Masaya-san's masculine appeal. Masculine? Panterbell is warming up to you as well. And I'll always remember Panterbell. Probably should go higher. Panterbell is a girl? Well, he might be a boy. I'm pretty sure no one's going mad for him. Have you been doing good deeds while we weren't watching? That's way too many W's. No, not especially. Then it must be. Chio and I tilted our heads in unison. It may be because of Konami's softening towards him. What? Me? The story of your exploits in the bath were in the newspaper, after all. Kami-san somehow heard that Konami-chan said in... What Konami-chan said in Maria Hall, and got her to give an interview. Of course, I warned Konami-chan not to reveal the whole truth, but people still knew that we'd taken a bath together. I thought that it might lower my approval rating, so I was surprised when it had the opposite effect. In addition, the article said that you saw him in a new light. There are likely many people who were influenced by those words. All I meant by that is that I no longer consider him to be a teenager serpent. That's all. That sounds like seeing him in a new light to me. Maybe. There's nothing to be upset about. It's better than needlessly forcing yourself to hate him. But I don't think I'm really influential at all. Oh, but you are, right? The others nodded their agreement. One way or another, you were considered the leader of the anti-Messiah-sama movement. They were likely shocked by your change of opinion. I see. Yep, that's exactly it. Tami-san appeared out of nowhere, as usual. She was invisible until she didn't want to be. Even I was shocked as I was giving the interview. I was like, is this really Konami I'm talking to? Are you sure nothing happened back there? Aside from him protecting you from hot water? Well, what are you talking about? Well, you know, like Baser or something. Probably should have clicked that. Oh well. How could you say that? Of course there's nothing like that! Maybe that had been the cause of Konami-chan's change in opinion, and the others re-evaluating their opinion of me. Of course, I hadn't done it to look good in the newspaper. The thought hadn't crossed my mind for an instant. Well, okay. Anyway, I can tell you that night alone together fully brought you two closer. Yes. Well, yes? Konami-chan turned her eyes to me and smiled shyly. I thought it was very cute. And the other girls were really angry at me. I could feel all eyes upon me. Anyway, Oni-sama, everyone, there's one thing I wish you to remember. This does not change my standing as a Red Rose Society affiliate. It is just as I stated the other day. Of course. And to the student council. What are you scheming this time? Oni-sama, here are Messiah-san's most recent approval ratings. I always forget your voice. Thank you. My, how amazing. It's a sizable increase. Yes, at this rate, he might just pass the Premier Judgment. Yes. Marika had said before that if Messiah were a righteous man, she would not seek to drive him out. Mitsuki was moved once again by Mitsuki's incredible integrity. At the same time, she felt slightly inadequate in the face of it. Of course, Mitsuki herself felt no particular animosity towards Messiah either. Of course, I feel no particular confidence that he is a righteous man either. But that is a separate matter. If the others all come to accept him, then I see no reason to oppose him. I see. And they're slowly starting to sound the same since they're so low. Well, I'll try to separate you. Yes. No matter what else, the student council will remain neutral.
はい。とにかく私は1学期が終わるまでは彼の観察を続けますから。
Yes, ma'am. Anyway, I'll continue to monitor him until the end of the first term.
お願いね。
Please do.
おばあ様、私、マリカです。
Ah, grandmother. This is Marika.
マサヤ君のことなのですが。ええ、そうです。例のサンプルとして入学を許された人です。
I'm calling in regards to Masaya-kun. Yes, that's right. The one who entered our school to serve as a sample.
彼はもしかしたら擬人かもしれません。というのも、周りに徐々に受け入れられているようなのです。
He may be a righteous man. The others are gradually coming to accept him.
ええ、そうです。ですから、おばあ様のおっしゃっていたような結末には、もしかしたらならないかも。
Yes. Yes, that's right. I wanted to tell you that there is a chance that this may not end as you foresaw. What?
罠、捏造。そんな、おばあ様、それは本気でおっしゃっているのですか？
Entrapment? Forgery? It can't be. Grandmother, can you be serious?
ええ、それはわかります。ですが。
Yes, I understand that, but... Huh?
そんな。
It can't be.
そのような行い、正しくないのに。
She's a great actor, though. Such actions cannot possibly be righteous.
なぜ、おばあ様。
Grandmother, why? Change of season. And pool on the 20th of June. Try to at least finish June this week. Oh well. The morning was unexpectedly hot and muggy, and I found myself up earlier than usual. I ate an early breakfast, then headed for the main school building. Despite the early hour, there were a few students here and there, probably doing early morning exercises. Eh? But looking around, I could tell that something was off. What's going on? Oh, it's Ritsuko-chan. Something about her was off too, but that wasn't what drew my attention. It was the fact that she had gone into the cathedral. I had met her in the cathedral before, when Ayaka-san lured me there using Placentari's letter. That's right, I wondered about it at that time too. What was she doing there? Technically, I knew what she was doing. She was praying. But what I wanted to know was, why was she praying? Probably for her sister. Is Ritsuko-chan a Christian? I recall hearing that despite Vincennes being started as a mission, very few of the students were actually Christian. I decided that I should go talk to her, so I followed her in. The start of classes was still a long way off, and the cathedral itself was silent and empty. Alone in the cathedral, Mitsuko-chan stood praying before the altar. It was truly picturesque. Not wanting to interrupt her, I waited in silence. After about 5 minutes, she turned around.
Masaya-sama だったんですか?
So it was you, Masaya-sama. I think she said that before too. Morning.
ごきげんよう。マサヤ様、お御堂に興味でもあったのですか?
Salutations. Masai-sama, are you interested in the cathedral? And is that a different outfit? Because it used to be long sleeve, now it's short sleeves. Probably because of the summer. No, it's just that I thought I saw you go in here. Me? I ended up waking early today, so I decided to head to school early. Oh, that's it. I get it now. Huh? I was thinking there was something off about everyone. It's the short sleeves. And apparently you both noticed. Yes, we begin wearing our summer uniforms today. That's right, it was June 1st. I wonder what I should do. Should I wear a short sleeve button-down shirt to match the rest of you? Masaya-sama, I believe that you should do whatever makes you comfortable. When we first met, her expression had always been thorny, but lately, I was seeing her smile a lot more. I was happy to see it. I don't believe the teachers will scold you. I see. I'll switch over to short sleeves if it gets too hot, I guess. Incidentally, I see that you have not stopped addressing me as Chan. Oh yeah, I just can't get used to it. Is that bad? Yes, it is. Really? However, it may be natural for people on the outside to refer to their juniors that way. Therefore, I've given up on being addressed any other way. I see. But although she was smiling at me more often now, she was still very strict. Anyway, you have interest in the cathedral then? Mitsuko-chan cast a glance around her. Unlike the other buildings on the grounds, this one has never been rebuilt since its founding. This Gothic-style construction was considered cutting-edge during the Meiji period. There are very few buildings like this in the entire country. It has been designated an important cultural property. Wow, I never knew. I was honestly impressed. This was probably my first time visiting a cultural property. So naturally, it cannot be rebuilt. That said, it is already compliant with earthquake codes, so there is no need to rebuild it either. The teachers sometimes joke with each other about it, but we really could open the cathedral to the public and charge admission. The school will definitely make a lot more money, since it's still broke. Now that you mention it, it really is beautiful in here. From the way that you are speaking, I can assume that you did not really come here to look at the cathedral. Yeah, I happened to see you with Suku, so... You do not need to force yourself. But why then? Huh? Why did you come inside? Just because you happened to see me? was because I wanted to talk to her, but it was hard to answer when she asked me like that. Oh, that's right. Mitsuko-chan, are you a Christian by chance? Maybe. Because of the cross, but... And her mother. Probably. Oh, not that there's anything wrong with that. I was just curious. I am not a believer. I see. But I saw you praying here before, too. I placed my hands together, mimicking her. She didn't answer immediately. I wondered if I had touched on a sensitive subject. Well, anyway, it has a nice atmosphere. I can understand wanting to come here. Yes, that is true. I come here every morning. Every morning? Wow. I was a little surprised to hear that, but Ritsuko-chan continued serenely. Coming to the cathedral and putting my hands together calms my spirit. The same is true for the Gospels. She opened the book in her hands and began flipping through the pages. I had been wondering what it was, so it was a Bible, after all. Reading there calms my spirit as well. Even though I'm not truly a believer, there are verses that resonate with me. They do say it's the best-selling book in the world. Have you read it before, Masaya-sama? No, not yet. Teachers are always telling me to, but... Compared to the chapters like Leviticus from the Old Testament, it's very easy to read. I recommend it. Oh, okay. Though I had no idea what Leviticus from the Old Testament was either. Well, then salutations. Oh, Ritsuko-chan, wait a minute. Yes? I know it's a bit late, but I was hoping to ask you again. Are you still against school reform? Of course I am. But you didn't choose to become the leader of the Red Rose Society, did you? That is true, but... Right. So then, why? It is true that it was not my choice to leave the society. If I am to be honest, I still believe I am unfit for the role. But that is neither here nor there. I am personally opposed to the subject of reform. I see. I should have guessed, but I still felt disappointed for some reason. I felt like Ritsuko-chan and I had developed a rapport, after all. Whatever that is. So maybe I started to get my hopes up. But why? Why what? I mean, why are you opposed to reform? Do I need a reason to be? No, I'm not asking you to justify yourself. I just want to know more about you. The moment I said it, I realized it was an embarrassing question. My face felt hot, but Ritsuko-chan showed no particular reaction. I think of myself as a conservative. That is my reason. I see. In addition, I do not believe that it is good to change the way things are. The way things are? You mean Vincine's being a girls' school? Yes. I was reminded of something I had realized before. Mitsuko-chan took rules and conventions very seriously. I know that it is hard on you, but I cannot even begin to imagine it. What? Some things are set in stone and cannot be overturned. A girls' school becoming co-educational? I cannot even fathom the idea. Things do not change that easily, which is true. Excuse me. Mitsuko-chan was gone before I could think of a response. The sound of the cathedral door closing resounded heavily around the room. Morning. Salutations. Starting summer uniforms today, right? Yes. Today's quite hot, and the short sleeves make it much more bearable. My gaze turned unconsciously to the fair skin of her arms on display. Of course, her arms. We had summer uniforms at my old school too, and the material was so thin you could sometimes see the girls' bras through it. And that's why you're checking. For some reason, I never had a particular reaction to that. At the moment, though, the sight of her arms stirred a definite reaction. I wonder, was it because my life was so much easier I could notice these things? That could be part of it, at least. But a bigger part of it had to be Rise-chan herself. I probably wasn't thinking about it around Mitsuko-chan because of the solemn atmosphere. If we hadn't been in the cathedral, I likely would have had the same feeling around her. I was somewhat less than faithful. Will you be wearing short sleeves tomorrow, Masaya-san? Well, I don't actually have a short sleeve button up. What? Really? I guess I should just up and buy one. That would be the best way. Even though I had money now, I couldn't stop thinking like a poor person. Well, you may wear what you like if you aren't feeling overheated. The rules don't exactly apply to you, after all. It's more or less the same thing that Ritsuko-chan had said, but the sentiment behind it was completely different. Rise-san's words were very free-willing, but Ritsuko-chan's had a different nuance. For her, the nuance was that I was not really a part of Vincene's, and therefore I could do as I like. If I were officially accepted by the school, she might feel the opposite way. They really are complete opposites. They suit their respective associations well. And salutations. Oh, yo. Wait. It should be more flirty. But wait, what? Yo? Oh, that was a greeting. For some reason, when speaking to Ayaka-san, I found myself reverting to the lower world forms of speech. Lower world was a term people of Vincines use, and at first I thought they were exaggerating. But realizing that a simple greeting was enough to cause confusion made me realize just how serious the differences were. That's a good one, though. Yo, I have no idea what it means, of course. Neither do I, actually. Neither do I. Just a greeting. Are you serious? I guess it's like salutations. You can use it for any situation. Hmm? Try it again. Yo.
なるほどね。
I see. Yaka-san smiled happily. The other girls around me had the opposite reaction, furrowing their brows at me.
一人で食べているの？
Are you eating by yourself? I usually do. Don't I usually eat with Rise though?
なんで？だって確かリセとは一緒のクラスだったでしょ？
But why? You have class with Rise, don't you? When we eat together, everyone watches us.
あら、本当だ。今もそうね。じゃあ。
I suppose that makes sense. They're even doing it now. Which means... She smiled brightly and bent over, sat down at the table, and leaned in.
もっと視線を集めるようなことしてみましょうか。
Why don't we see if we can get more people watching us? How?
今君が飲んでいるジュースにもう一本ストローを刺してみるとか。
Like, we could put another straw in the juice you're drinking right now? I think that would really cause trouble.
残念。でも気にしすぎじゃないの？
Too bad. But why does it bother you so much? It's just too much to take day after day. I don't mind much myself, but it tires Rise-san out.
それは大変だったわね。それからはずっと一人なの？
That's awful. So you've been alone all this time? Yeah.
でも寂しくない？それに一人の食事は消化にも良くないなんて言うわよ。
But aren't you lonely? They say that eating alone is bad for your digestion. Well, it's better than eating in the bathroom stall. And that's just sad. What? It was a hard subject to explain even to someone as casual as Ayaka-san, so I just shook my head.
じゃあ今度から私が一緒してあげましょうか。
Well, how about if I eat with you from now on then? But everyone will be watching you. They're probably already watching her to see if he's gonna pull a prank on them. It was happening even now. Everyone seemed to be interested in our conversation.
だって私はそんなこと気にしないもの。マサヤ君は？
That kind of thing doesn't bother me. Does it bother you? Not in particular.
ならいいわね。まあ気が向いたらだけどね。
That's just fine then. Well, if you don't mind. Alright. Ayaka-san didn't make the sign of the cross before she started eating. She had the carbonara, and I had the Hamburg steak. Hamburg. Missing some letters. This really is delicious. They change up the menu every day, and they have such a variety.
まあね。けれど私たちなんか外食もできないのだから、これくらいしてくれないことにはね。
Yeah, it's because we can't eat out. This is the least they can do.
マサヤ君も最初は戸惑ったんじゃない？好きなものが食べられなくて。
Was it ever hard on you, being here at first? Not being able to eat what you wanted? No way, this is much better. Because I was poor to begin with.
そう。まあ確かにどれも美味しいけどね。
I see. I guess the food is all delicious after all.
このカルボナーラなんかもソースは滑らかで濃厚だし、熱しすぎると卵が固まってしまうのよね。
Even this carbonara. The sauce is smooth and rich. If you make it too thick, the egg hardens.
絶妙の火加減だわ。ほんと。
You have to manage the heat very carefully. Ayaka-san ate her noodles without slurping. Her table manners were impressive. It really does look good.
味見してみる？
You want to try it? Sure, if you don't mind.
はい、
Okay, open up. Maybe I shouldn't.
やっぱり可愛いな、マサヤ君は。
You really are cute, Masaya-kun. Oh, sure, she was teasing me, but it wasn't an unpleasant feeling. On the contrary, I was enjoying it.
気になるなら追加で食べてみれば？言えばきっと量を調節してくれるわよ。
If you're interested, you could ask for an additional helping. I'm sure they portioned some out for you. I nodded and decided to do it. I wish I could stay here eating this food into the second term and on into the next year.
あら、弱気なこと言うのね。大丈夫よ。
Hey, don't look so sad. It'll be okay. It's just, Mitsuko-chan said something to me this morning.
なんて?
What is it? She said she couldn't begin to imagine the school being reformed.
ただまあ、律子ならそう言うんじゃないかしらね。あの子、紅バラ会の会頭なんだし。
Well, it's natural that Mitsuko would say that. She's the leader of the Red Rose Society after all. That's true, but...
でも意外じゃない。今朝ってことは、律子と隠れて会っていたのかしら?
This is real news, though. You had a clandestine meeting with Mitsuko this morning? No, it's nothing like that. I explained what had happened earlier that day. At that, the usual light and breezy Ayaka-san became reserved and thoughtful.
おみどか。それは初めて知ったわね。
The cathedral? That's the first I've heard of it. Really? I was a little surprised by that. She made it sound like it was her daily routine. Maybe it was supposed to be secret? But it didn't really feel like that.
きっと最近の習慣なんでしょうね。
She must have started doing it recently. I see. That makes sense.
それで律子は心が落ち着くからとそう言っていたのね。
And she said that it calms her spirit, right? Yeah.
他には何か言っていた？祈りに関して。
Did she say anything else? What she was praying for? No, that was about it.
そう。
I see. Ayaka-san furrowed her brow. She seemed really troubled by it for some reason.
でも、私もちょっと心配になってきたわね。夢なんて言われると。
But it really worries me, hearing her talk like that. We continued eating in silence for a while, and Ayaka-san spoke again.
今日からもう6月だし。
It's June now. June. Did something happen in June?
何をのんきなことを言ってるのよ、君は。日取りよ、日取り。プルミエールジャッジメントは1学期の末じゃない。
How can you be so laid back? I'm talking about the day. The premier judgment happens at the end of the first term. Every day, the day of decision was drawing closer. I really couldn't afford to be so laid back.
プルミエールジャッジメントって具体的には何日なの?
Do you know specifically what day the premier judgment occurs on? Of course not, no one told me. No, I don't.
本当にのんびり屋さんね。
You really are easygoing, aren't you? Sorry.
ボートは普通土曜日に行われるの。1学期最後の土曜日ってことでいいのかしら。
Let's see. The vote typically happens on a Saturday, so probably the last Saturday of the term. I checked the calendar on my cell phone.
7月の9日ね。あと5週間しかないということなのよ、マサヤくん。
July 9th. That means you only have 5 weeks left, Masaya-kun. That's pretty close by. So that means I'm almost done with the common route. I see. We're so close already. Probably 2 more chapters. Maybe I've been too laid back. I was so uncomfortable here at Vincine's. I had reunited with my childhood friend and met so many new ones. The weeks had just flown by. And you won the lottery too. It's been 3 months since I met Rise-san. It was freezing cold that day, and now they're all in summer uniforms.
こーら、遠い目をしている場合じゃないでしょ。何か対策を考えるわよ。
Hey now, this is no time for reminiscing. We need to think of a plan. All right, a plan?
これはやっぱり由々しき事態なんじゃないかしらね。
This is a real emergency situation. An emergency situation? Is it? I just got that big increase in my approval rating though.
だって45票だったのよ。過半数にはまだまだ遠いじゃない。
You still only have 45 votes. You still have a long way to go to get a majority. How many students are at this school? That's true, I guess. a majority was 232. Right now it's at 45, so basically 190 more, so there are probably like 460 people at the school around there. It really was a distant goal.
やっぱりのんびりしている場合じゃないわね。早急にマサヤ君の評判をアップさせていかないと。あ、そっか。
So this is no time to be resting on your laurels. We need a way to get you some approval, fast. Oh, I know. Huh?
危機感が薄かったのは何も私や君だけじゃないわ。みんなもそうだったじゃない。
We're not the only ones resting on our laurels. The others have been too. That's true. But so what?
それがなぜなのか今急に分かったのよ。
I just realized why that is. You don't think we're just naturally laid back?
のんびり屋のルリコ一人ならその解釈も妥当でしょうね。でもリセもいたわけだから。
If it were just Yuriko, sure. But Rise and I are the same way.
つまりね、みんな君に接しているからなのよ。
I think it's because we're with you so much. Huh? What does that mean?
わからない？つまり、会って喋れば、マサヤ君が学校に残れるのは当然に思えてしまうのよ。変革の方はともかくとしても。
You don't get it? We see and talk with you every day. Setting the reform stuff aside, it feels like a given that you'll get to stay.
実像に触れているからっていうのかな。だからつい忘れてしまうのね。現実には厳しい状況であることを。
We're with you all the time, so it just slips out of our heads, even though the reality is a lot more severe. I don't know. Don't you think you're making too much of it?
そうかしらね。でも切れ者揃いの白百合会でみんながみんなぼんやりしてしまうというのはなさそうに思えるけどな。
It's possible, but to see the sharp-minded women of the White Lily Society acting so careless makes me think I'm not. Actually, I do wonder what happened with the rising tide policy Rise-san mentioned.
上げ潮路線？何それ？
Rising tide policy? What's that mean? It sounded like some kind of plan to get my approval rating up.
さすがはリセね。先手を打っているわ。で、具体的には何をしたの？
That's Rise for you. Always one step ahead. So, what has she done precisely? Nothing in particular.
はあ？何それ？
Huh? What's that supposed to mean? She says a lot of stuff like we should all be prepared, but it seemed like she forgot about it at some point.
ああ、やっぱりね。
I thought so. Hayaka-san nodded firmly.
忘れたといえばその通りだけど、リセの目を通して見る君と他の人が目にする君。
It makes sense that she forgot. The Messiah that she sees, and the Messiah that others see?
その違いこそを失念してしまったのではないかしらね。
I think she's lost sight of the fact that there's a difference between them. I thought about it. In a way, it made me happy, but it made me realize that we couldn't afford to be so laid back. Whoa! What did we do?
もちろん、いよいよ上げ潮を実践に移すのよ。
I think it's time to put the rising tide policy into effect. You're right. But what should we do?
何から何まで手間がかかるわね、君は。
You really are high maintenance, aren't you? I'm very sorry.
でもそんなところも可愛いから許してあげる。
But that's cute too. So I forgave you. Thank you very much. I didn't quite understand what she was getting at, but Ayaka-san nodded in satisfaction.
まあ私に任せなさいな。放課後の会合までには何か考えてくるから。
Well, just leave it to me. I'll have something thought up by this afternoon's meeting. Got it. And halfway through the chapter. Chapter seems shorter, luckily.
ねえリセ、上げ潮路線について何か考えていることってあるかしら。